Hey there folks, Ben from eXplorminate, and welcome to episode 11 of my Let's Play series for Remnants of the Precursors. Let's get into the game. If I remember right, and I do, we were about to go to war. In fact, we are currently at war with these bear kind of aliens, the Bulrathi. Exceptionally strong in ground combat. These guys they can also field some pretty large ship designs because they get a bonus to their construction technology. They're generally weak in computers, so the Bulrathi do well to kind of trade or steal computer technology, but stealing computer technology is harder than it sounds because the modifier that you use when you're stealing things is computer tech. So because they generally have poor computers, or the way that it works is there's a bonus and a penalty depending on what races that you're using. I've just got the racial tech table in front of me. So the Bulrathi, they're poor in computers, they're good in construction, and they're good in weapons. Now, good means that you pay just 80% of the base cost for your research. So let's just say this automated repair system in construction for the Alkari is 5835. Now let's just say that we've got a bonus in construction. We would only have to pay, if we were good in construction, we'd pay 80% of this value, and if we were excellent at it, we would just pay 60% of that value. There aren't that many races in the game with excellent in any field. However, we are one of them. We get, when it comes to propulsion tech, we are excellent. So the Alkari get they only pay 60% of the base cost of all the research for propulsion. That is why our allies, the Aviari, are quite far ahead in propulsion tech. They've got iridium fuel cells already, and that's been great for us because we've been able to trade with them for it. So getting back to the Bulrathi are poor in computers, which means they're quite easy to steal technologies from. So they're good to have as a neighbor because they will be researching good construction and good weapons. Now we don't have any bonuses in either construction or weapons, so actually the Bulrathi are a fair target for theft, particularly if we can get our hands on some decent computer tech. I'm kind of getting a bit sidetracked, but I just thought it would be interesting to talk about that. Now, when it comes to the war, of course, the Bulrathi are exceptionally strong in ground battles, which means that taking their planets is going to be exceptionally difficult. It also puts us into a predicament because the only way that we're going to be able to take their planets really reasonably is, well, we've got two options, which I think I've said before. We either bombard them with loads and loads of pops, which is going to severely affect my economy, because for every single one of their troops, let's just say there are no other technologies like hand lasers or personal defense shields involved in these calculations. For every single dice roll they make, they add 25 points. Now 25 points is a significant bonus. Hand lasers just give you 5. Personal defense shields give you 5, I think. So that would be a cumulative bonus of 10 just for those two techs. Battle suits, I think, might be 10. So the Bulrathi get a huge natural bonus. So for the way that the ground combat works is that for every population on the planet that you're invading, that will be the defensive. They will get 61 dice rolls against whatever you send at them, right? So let's say we send 100 pop. That's not going to do it, by the way, against the Bulrathi. For a start, defending populations get a +5 to every roll anyway. The Bulrathi get plus 25 on top of that, so they get a whopping plus 30 before any technologies are included. And just going back to look at the Bulrathi's technology, they've also got personal deflector shields and hand lasers. That's another 10. So they're getting 40 to their rolls. We're not going to get anywhere near them. We would probably have to send pops from all of these planets all at once to hit them all at once. And even with a low population like 50 here, it's a bit early for me for mathematics, but I'm gonna say that we're gonna need at least maybe 200 pops, maybe more. It's going to be a large amount, and there's still a strong random element in there. I mean, even if you were fighting someone of the same race and you had hand lasers and they didn't, and therefore the numbers were completely even, there's still going to be a fairly even chance that you're going to win or lose, right? But with the Bulrathi with such a massive advantage, there's no hope that we can do that. We're not going to take them in a ground battle, and it would be a fool's game to try. So what we need is ships that can bombard planets, because I'm sorry, bears, but we're just going to have to glass your planets. That's the only way that we're going to be able to. And what we can do is we don't have to glass them necessarily. And for those who don't know what I mean by glassing, it literally just means to bombard the planet until it's completely uninhabitable. It's just made of glass. So that is a viable technique, and it's something that you'll often use at the end of the game when you want to win quickly and you need to drastically reduce the population of the AI factions. Here, however, it would be probably smarter to reduce their population down to a manageable level. So let's say we were to attack Traken here. If we were to bombard them down to about 10 left, and then send about 50 pops, even then that's going to be a big mission. The Bulrathi are just that strong, but it would prevent us having to then build a colony ship and recolonizing the entire planet. We also might be able to salvage some of the factories, and every factory that we can salvage is one that we don't have to build for ourselves. So this is the plan. Let's get ourselves a design for a bomber of some kind. Now we get this pre-designed bomber, which is, I guess, perfectly okay for the early game. It's probably never going to be used. I say that hesitantly because I'm sure somebody somewhere will find a use for it, but if you're at war that early in the game before you've got any technologies more than nuclear bombs, then you're probably not, you're in trouble, let's say. So we'll scrap this design, and we want to build a large ship, I think. So firstly, let's set the size to large, and we're going to give it the best engines that we can, because bombers, especially when they are attacking planets with missile bases, they need to get to the planet as soon as possible. Now, Class 2 maneuvering engines is still not good. It's still not very fast. They're only going to move 2 squares on that tactical combat screen at once. We don't have any ECM jammers. I didn't manage to get any of those yet, but that's no big problem. I'm not that worried. The Alkari already get a bonus to their maneuverability, and this gives us a missile defense and beam defense bonus anyway. It doesn't show on this screen here, but it will be applied once we get into combat. We want the biggest, the best targeting computers we can get. We want Duralloy armor. Now there's 2 versions of Duralloy. We've got this that gives us 150, and we've got Duralloy 2, which is the largest size, and it gives us 225. That's a significant bonus in hit. That's a significant jump in hit points. Bearing in mind that your normal lasers will do between 1 and 4 hit points of damage each. So a jump of 75 hit points is significant. However, you'll see that it drastically increases the amount of space. It decreases the amount of space that you'll have on your ship after loading that heavier plate. So it's a trade-off, right? You've got size 58 versus size 412. It doesn't take any more power, obviously, because it's armor, so that it's not such a big drastic jump as you would need if you were loading much more weapons on, but it's still significant. I generally don't bother with Duralloy armor unless I've not got shields, and unless I'm coming up against an enemy that has got just much better weapons than us. I'm going to load on. This is a bomber, so the main thing we want on this thing is fusion bombs. Fusion bombs are only useful against planets. They don't do any damage to enemy ships. That's fine. We don't need them to. These are ground attacks only. But the fusion bombs are much better than the nuclear bombs that come before it. You'll see that nuclear bombs do 3 to 12 damage, and fusion bombs do 5 to 20. They're not much more expensive. They are significantly bigger. They don't take any more power though. So these are what we want. It's always best. Well, it's usually best to go for the best versions of the weapons you can. I say usually because there are occasions where, because of space considerations, or because it might be overkill to do so, you might want to choose a weapon that's not quite the top of the line. we don't have any beam weapons that are any good. Beam weapons being lasers, the neutron pellet guns, I think the projectile weapons, they all come under the sort of vague term of beam weapons in Remnants of the Precursors. So it would be wise for us to put some lasers on here, just in case we do have to fight anything. These do 1 to 7 damage, and they've got a range of 2. The heavy weapons, the heavy mounts, have a range of 2. They are larger than the normal lasers, and you'll notice that you can't put anywhere near. You can't put anywhere near of them as many on, but the extra damage just means that you are more likely to get through shields, and our enemies will have shields, probably at least class 2 if I remember right. So we want a battle scanner on these ships as well. It's important to take a battle scanner. You want to know what's on the enemy ships, and these large ships are much better equipped to be able to handle them. So we'll just remove one of the lasers that we've got, and I don't think we can fit anything. No, we can't fit anything more on this ship, so that's it. We've still got 12 available space. There is a bit of an art, I'm afraid, in maximizing the total amount of space that you can have with regards to the loadout that you can take. If you're Rob from eXplorminate and you have a knack for just getting it bang on 0 available space, then that's great. Good for you. I'm not sure how he does it. So that's good. Let's deploy this design. Well, first we'll just choose a pleasing design. Oh, I do like this one. Look at this. But that's what our colony ship looks like. Let's choose this crazy UFO looking thing. I think that looks great. And you can call your ships whatever you like. I have a bit of a system, and I like to be able to see at a glance what they are. So I'm just going to call it FB for fusion bomb, or fuzz bomber. In fact, we got some space. Fusion bomber 2, and the 2 at the end, if you remember, signifies how far they can move, the warp speed and their maneuverability. And I don't usually increase the type of the engine type without also putting up the maneuverability as well. I generally don't do that. So we've got a fusion bomber now. It looks pretty cool. We need to start building these ASAP. Now, we've been building these fighters, and we probably want a fair few of these fighters. Now, the fighters have only got really poor weapons on them with those lasers. However, because we are the Alkari, they are gonna provide an effective screen because we get that big bonus. And if I remember right, we put inertial stabilizers on them. No, we didn't. Okay, that's fine. We don't need the inertial stabilizers on necessarily. I think that was my original plan, wasn't it? I don't know why I went back on that. Well, that's fine. Probably what we could have done here. Let's just copy this design. If you click on one of these designs and on the available design, look, this is a free design slot. Click on copy here, and it will copy everything from this ship into this one, so you can iterate on previous designs quite quickly if you want to do that. What I'd probably do here is, if we take off that shield and we'll put on an inertial stabilizer, this is probably a better design. I don't know why I missed that. I'm sorry, I must have been tired the other night. So if we were to really create a super effective, look at the difference now between the fighter 2 with missile defense 5, beam defense 4, and this one with missile defense 7, beam defense 6, added to the +3 defense bonus that we get as the Alkari. I think it's a +3. It might be +2. I'll just have to check on that, but they get a bonus anyway, and it's not shown here. Their missile defense will be something like 9 or 10, and beam defense will be 8 or 9. They are going to be unhittable, absolutely unhittable. There is nothing at the start of this game that is going to be able to hit them. Let me just there's a 2-hit table in the original Master of Orion manual, and let's see if I can just get this on the screen so you can see it. There we go. Can you see this? So if you see here, we've got the defender's defense level, and this will be the defense level of the each weapon has its own defense. So missile defense you have, which is affected by ECM jammers as well, and then beam defense, and then the attack level of the enemy. Now the attack level will be a function of any racial bonuses they may have, which basically is the immersion, and the type of computers that they're using on their ships. And there might be other bonuses with regards to certain missiles, for example, have their own computers on board, which raise their attack level. But at this point of the game, the enemy's probably not going to be using any more than attack level 1 or 2. At a guess, there might be someone with battle computers 3 with with level 3. So if they're shooting against this design with beam defense 6, they're going to have to get on a D100 an 80 or more. That's with 3. With level 2, which is more likely at this stage of the game, they're going to have to roll a 90 or more. So they're just going to not be hitting with anything. And this is large ships, small ships, whatever. If they've got 100 small ships all firing, at that, then the law of large numbers suggests they're going to hit a few. Yeah, you're going to take a few hits. But a large ship that might have maybe 10 lasers on it, or 10 heavy lasers, or whatever the current trendy weapon is in the AI's fleets, they're only going to be making 10 rolls, right? And even if they do roll a 9 or more on a D10, right, they're only going to be and if they were to do that even on every 10 of their weapons, they're only going to kill 10 of these fighters, and that's highly unlikely. They're not going to kill that many. So now you see why fighters, these small designs are exceptionally effective. And the Alkari, I mean, that's on beam defense 6, right? Let's if we were to look at the Alkari's racial bonus on top of that, which I think is +8, I think it's +2. So they've got to get 95. Even if they had really, really good computers like level 6 at this point, they're still going to be having to roll 70 or more on a D100. This is just an incredible racial bonus they get, and it's not the Alkari bonus on their strategic bonus. Let's say the bonuses that affect them on the strategic map, really they haven't really got much. They've got poor force field technology, and they've got excellent propulsion, so they can get further out in the galaxy. But this combat bonus is absolutely crazy, especially if you do what I've done and you maximize it by using inertial stabilizers. So I made a mistake there, and I think actually even these fighters with their beam defense of 4, that's going to go up to 6, and missile defense 7. They're going to be untouchable, really. We could probably have taken off the heavy lasers on this and put more fusion bombs on if we wanted to, because I honestly don't think we're going to need them unless we come up against unless the Bulrathi have got some ships with some heavy shields on, which we just can't get through these lasers, which is possible. And bearing in mind that our battle computers are only Mark II, so if we just look at that again, we're using battle computers 2 against their 2 or 3 maybe, so we're rolling 50 or 60 or more to be able to hit them. Now again, if you've got 50, we've got 50 fighter 2s in this fleet, so you're rolling 50 attack dice with a 50% chance to hit against maybe 1 ship, and they might be using shield 1 or 2, which means you're rolling between 1 and 4 damage. So you really, again, there's another sort of 50% modifier, because you're not going to do that much damage. You're only going to be doing a damage 50% of the time, and only between 1 and 2. So large ships can have hit points, as we've seen, of like 150 up to 225, at least with Duralloy. And once we start getting into the higher armor types, which the Bulrathi might have access to because they have high construction tech, then you start seeing that the small fighters, they're not going to be so effective against a large ship. However, they will eventually whittle one down, especially if that ship can't fight back. It's all well and good having big, powerful lasers, but if they can't hit anything, they're useless. So, yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to leave the inertial stabilizers off. I think it would be overkill for the Alkari at this particular point. So, with that in mind, I'm going to switch just one of my planets that's working as a shipyard right now. We're gonna move those over to building fusion bombers. They're going to take 5 years. These fusion bomber 2. 5 years is quite a long time in a war. A lot can happen in that time. So perhaps we can put 2 instead. We don't need many of these fighters actually. If Altair is pumping out 10 of them a year, that's pretty impressive. that 10 of them a year is fine, because in 5 years we've got another 50. 2 fleets of 50 fighter 2s is going to be enough to keep the Bulrathi very, very busy, because they will not be able to hit them. Their missile bases will have a better chance maybe, but I think that whilst I was a little bit hesitant to get into this war at first, I'm now starting to see the fact that yeah, we have a big advantage. It would be different if the Bulrathi had a lot more ships. I mean, look, this is probably the extent of their fleet by the looks of it. They've got 2 of these. They've got 3 types of large ships: 2 corvettes, 2 brutes, and 1 warbird. These couriers, I think, are just scouts. So we're not actually sure what's on these ships yet. We need to get a ship with a battle scanner into combat with them, at least long enough to be able to see. Also, we do have these Hyper V videos, Hyper V bombers or missile boats that we bought, and they're also we've got some of these kind of really low budget fighters as well. Even these things with the Alkari's bonuses are going to be difficult for the Bulrathi to deal with. What we do need to be careful of is just making sure that we've got missile bases or defenses, or some kind of ships orbiting our fleets, orbiting our planets, because if we don't, we might well see transports of Bulrathi transports heading inbound, and that will be a problem. We cannot fight those off right now. So Yoshida here, for example, we've now maxed out our factories. We've also almost maxed out our pop. So we've just got 2 population to grow. I think we should build a missile base. It's going to take 3 years, and I want a couple of missile bases up there just to dissuade any potential attacks that we might get. I think I'm going to do the same with this one too. We do need to build a couple more factories here. As you can see, there is a little bit of micromanagement in Master of Orion 1. In Remnants of the Precursors. If you want to play optimally, there is you can really min-max to your heart's delight. You don't need to though. Actually, in this game, you really don't need to. Okay, why are we building fighters? Where are those fighters being built? Oh, they're being built at Yoshida. No, they're not. They're being built at Fighter 2. Fighter 2. Oh, they're being built at Adachi. Oh, okay. Is that right? Hold on a second. Let me just get in here. There we go. Adachi. Yes, we were building fighters. Silly me. So that's not what we want to do. We want to build missile bases. So maxing out our factories. Well, we still have some pops to grow first. Yeah, let's get the population up first, I think. There we go. So get the pops up. Keep going with the turns. Still building those fighter 2s. Endo and Sato, we're getting close to a couple of fusion bombers. There's not any movement from the Bulrathi as of yet. I think they've seen there's nothing they can do to save Amelia now. I don't think they can save this. The best bet we've got is now to get one of our bombers down there and bomb the hell out of them, and reduce their troops to nothing, kill them all, and then we can actually start sending some transport to take that. I don't want the AVRI to get a planet on this side of my territory. That is on my list of things that I do not want to happen. More fighters. Okay, so now we've got some ships above the Bulrathi colony, and it's asking us if we want to bombard the planet. Now, this is a poor planet, so factories are going to be hard to grow on this planet anyway. So yes, we do want to bombard the planet. Now, we've only got those Hyper Vs, so they're not. Look, we only removed 1 population and we bombed the factories, so the factories are gone. This will really upset the Bulrathi. And look, did you notice before they'd actually recalled their diplomats? Now they want to talk, because I think they realise that they're in a bit of a state. Now, it wouldn't be good for me to actually accept peace with them yet, because the AVRI would be unhappy, because we've just accepted going into this war with them, right? I'm really keen to get some of these guys' technology, but we just don't have anything to trade for it. That ion cannon in particular would be nice. Well, I digress. Where are we? Let's just have a look at this little fleet here. Okay, yeah, this is a fleet that's defending Joe. Joe probably doesn't need that much defending now with 7 missile bases. And we've got HyperX missile bases as well. They're fairly good technology. I think we could probably... No, let's leave them there for the time being. Let's just have them... I want them sat there. 2 years until this fusion bomber. I'm going to put some spending into Endo. And let's just transfer some funds into the treasury. Let me just see how... Remember that you can own... Endo has a production of 194. So 2 times that is 280... Sorry, my math is not doing very good. 190, 90, 18, whatever, 189, something like this. God. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Don't do maths in the morning. So, yeah, but twice the amount of this production we can put in every turn. So, if we put in 200, that bumps it up to 406. This is how much we can use in one turn now. Okay, so and it's also added a little bit. That's just saying how much has been added to the reserve this turn. Any excessive amount of BC in the reserve will also be there too. Okay, that means that we're going to finish this Fusion Bomber 2 in 1 year, the same as Sato. I don't know if they're going to get to Joe at the same time. That was my hope, but that's no problem. Okay, 2 Fusion Bombers are out, and the Bulrathi fleet has now arrived at Emila. So they've sent one of these corvettes. Let's see what they've got. I'm going to move my ships up. Let's put these fighters. We're going to screen with the fighters, I think. Yeah, we're out of range of the Hyper-Vs. We might be in range now. There we go. Let's start launching rockets at these and try to screen with the fighters. I'm going to kite backwards with the Hyper-V. Send more missiles. Oh, we are doing damage. Okay, look, so I don't know if you can see, but the hit points underneath the ship scan information is saying that they're now at 84 of 100. So we are actually hitting them. Now, let's just have a look. Yeah, our missile defense on these fighters is 7 and our beam defense is 6. I don't think these, whatever it is that they've got on this corvette are going to be able to hit me. I'm just going to move them. I'm going to keep them there. No, I might move them here actually to get in between my missile ships. Let's move backwards and keep firing. And the lasers are going to hit as well. I don't think we're doing much damage here with the... I think we did 4 actually. That's not bad. So we're basically getting 29 lasers each turn. We are taking some damage from this corvette. I'm not sure what it's actually got on it. We can't actually see what they've got on it so at the moment. Well, anyway, I'm going to stay there. Fire more missiles. I'm just going to keep moving away. Okay, so they whittled down a few of our fighters. And we actually did some damage with that. Okay, let's move this back. Now, the thing about this is we're going to be doing less damage to them each turn because we're losing fighters. Whereas they will, until they're destroyed with this one corvette, they're always going to get the maximum amount of guns. In Remnants of the Precursors, there's no such thing as being able to destroy, individual weapons. At least I don't think so. So, yeah, we actually need to get it to 0 hit points in order to stop its full offensive capabilities. Here we go. Okay, we're out of rockets, so we're going to retreat with these. So if we press... No, I'll keep them here, actually. They're not under any threat. Now, I'm hoping I can kill this before he destroys my fighters. If not, we will have to retreat. We are going to be doing less and less damage each turn. Yeah, he's now going for the Hyper-Vs, which is probably good, because... Uh-oh, hang on. How many did we lose there? We've got 4. 27, and we took him down to 20. I think we might do this. Maybe. It's going to be close. We're down to 11. 12. It's going to be... I don't know if we're going to manage this. Down to 8. We did 11. Yeah, we're not going to win this now. We were just... If we just had a little bit more... A few more ships on these fighters... Oh, we're down to 9. We might get lucky with the random number generation. Let's see how we do. Down to 9. It didn't do any damage that time. Let's move them away. See if we can get the... They're going to destroy those, though. 9 and 6. Oh, just don't think I'm going to make it. That's nail-biting stuff. Right, I'm going to retreat these Hyper-Vs. Don't want to lose them. Let's... yeah, he destroyed us with the last one, so we lost. That's no problem. Okay, so we've... By the way, Ray, if you're watching this, there seems to be a bug at the moment with the way that the end of the tactical combat screen. So I have to click in order to get the battle complete dialogue, and the battle complete dialogue disappears immediately. So yeah, that you might want to have a look at that. Okay, guys. So yeah, that's actually we're gonna just finish the turn here, and then that's going to be the end of the episode because we've hit our time limit. So now. We unfortunately lost our first battle, which is disappointing. However, there is plenty more where that came from. We've got 7 of these Hyper V1s, and we've got 50 Fighter 2s. Now, they will not be able to... Those Fighter 2s are much more... Just see the difference between the fighters. So the fighters had 3 hit points. Fighter 2s have got 5, and they've also got shields. They're also more maneuverable. So those basic fighters... They're going to be hitting us even less, and we've not even considered our Fighter 3 design, which we could have made with the inertial stabilizers. So yeah, okay, I'm going to continue building bombers. We want lots of these bombers if we can. If we can get maybe another 2 from each planet, so that would give us 6 altogether. That would probably be enough. No, mind you, they've got 12 missile bases with HyperXs on this, and we don't have ECMs. Yeah, I'm gonna keep pumping out these ships. These fighters are going to be really, really useful though that we're sending. So I'm just going to end the turn, and the AVRI want another trade agreement. Yeah, let's do it. Now, we will take a hit to our initial economy because of that, but it will eventually build back up. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the turn there, and that's the end of the episode. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.